Hey there, it's God-given. Now that a few days have passed since the start of 2.0, you probably have gone through the main quests and are now starting to wonder how to properly play Carlotta. Here's the guide for that. I'm gonna make the guide as quick and clear as possible. Let's get into it. Carlotta has two different basic attack chains. The first one consists of two attacks, and when you use the second attack, you gain 3 moldable crystal bullets. With these bullets, the basic attack chain switches to a new one, which consists of 3 attacks. Whenever you use a crystal bullet to shoot, you consume it and recover Forte gauge. You can have up to 6 crystal bullets at once. Some other ways to gain the moldable crystals are to use the heavy attack, the attack after the plunge attack, the intro skill, the resonance skill, or to dodge. Carlotta's resonance skill has 2 parts. The first use gives you 3 crystal bullets and stuns the enemy hit by the skill for 1.5 seconds. This stun works on any enemy including the bosses. The second use of the skill, Carlotta leaps up in the air, deals damage and consumes all of the crystal bullets you currently have, giving you Forte gauge equivalent to the amount of bullets consumed. When you have consumed 12 bullets in total, Carlotta's Forte gauge will be full. With the full Forte gauge, you can use heavy attack to perform a huge nuke, which also shortens the cooldown of resonance skill by 6 seconds. You can perform this heavy nuke every 22 seconds. By getting the full Forte gauge, you also get into the final bow state, which increases the damage multipliers of all of Carlotta's resonance liberation attacks by a whole 80%, which is crazy stuff. Carlotta's resonance liberation consists of 3 parts. The initial use of the ultimate hits the enemies, applying a debuff to them which makes you ignore 18% of their defense. Carlotta is then able to do 4 big shots. You can dash if you move in some direction when you shoot. After doing 4 shots, you can use the ult one last time to do a huge nuke yet again. Carlotta's outer skill is a damaging outer skill, which deals a ton of damage with no additional mechanics. Carlotta's intro skill gives her 3 crystal bullets and fills up her Forte gauge by a fourth of its max capacity. Carlotta's second passive also allows you to ignore 18% of enemies' defense if you hit them with her intro, resonance skill, resonance liberation shots, or her heavy attack nuke. When leveling up talents, prioritize the resonance liberation first, then resonance skill and Forte circuit, basic attacks and intro skill being the least important for Carlotta's damage output. That's it for Carlotta's kit. Last thing to note about it, almost all of Carlotta's damage is considered to be resonance skill damage. Now let's get into how to build her. For the weapon choices, her best option is her signature, the standard 5-star weapon being the second best option. Then go for the 4-star weapons with attack percent substat, the new Romance in Farewell that gives attack percent if you had an enemy with a negative status, being a bit better than the other options. For echoes, you can go with the Freezing Frost or the Frosty Resolve set. I'd say just use whichever one you have the best echoes for, but overall, Frosty Resolve will end up being better if you have equally good echoes on both sets. For Freezing Frost, use the Lampilumen Myriad echo skill, and for Frosty Resolve, use the new Sentry Construct echo skill. It's tailor-made for Carlotta. For main stats, go for attack percent on 1 costs, glacio damage or attack percent on the 3 costs, and crit rate or crit damage on the 4 costs. For substats, prioritize crit rate and crit damage, then attack percent and resonance skill damage, then some flat attack. Getting energy regen to around 115 to 120% is nice to have easier rotations uptime. Let's move on to rotations. The most common rotation for Carlotta is resonance skill twice, use echo skill, switch to your teammates and do their rotations, then intro skill into Carlotta, use her skill twice again. This will fill up her Forte gauge to the full. Use the Forte circuit, which you can just hold the basic attack button after the second resonance skill, and Carlotta will perform the attack immediately after landing. Then resonance liberation, go through her whole resonance liberation and repeat the rotation afterwards. You can switch characters after using the echo skill to not waste time on waiting through the animations. Obviously, this is only one rotation. You can mix it up. Maybe you'll have to add some basic attacks in between or some dodge counters. Just be open-minded and try to mix the mechanics in, and you'll have a lot of fun playing Carlotta. Now let's get into the teams. The best team as of right now is Carlotta, Jeje, Shorekeeper. Jeje is the perfect sub-DPS for Carlotta, as she provides a glacio damage and resonance skill damage amplification with her outer skill. She also deals decent damage with her coordinated attacks. Shorekeeper just gives a huge amount of crit rate and crit damage, as well as healing and providing damage amplification with the outro skill. Baija can also be decent in the support slot if you have her R6, as she grants an additional 12% glacial damage with it, but she will take up more time on the field as her Concerto energy buildup is a bit slower and her rotation is a bit more scuffed. Other team options would be Carlotta Tauchi support and Carlotta Lumi support, because they provide resonant skill damage amplification with their outros, but their personal damage output is a bit lower than Judge's. If you like to use them though, then for sure give them a try. And as always, don't forget to experiment with your favorite units. Do not limit yourself to the teams that a guy on the internet tells you to use. If you want to use Yenlin or Changli or anyone else, then just go for it. Just make sure you're having fun with the game, and this is the most important part, isn't it? That's it for the guide. Thank you guys for watching the video. Like, comment and sub if you enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitch. I've actually been streaming my whole 2.0 playthrough there, so if you want to, you can join me live there. See you in the next one.